And so I asked a friend of mine to share the content of the memo with a reporter. Didn't do it myself for a variety of reasons, but I asked him to because I thought that might prompt the appointment of a special counsel. And so I asked a close friend of mine to do it.
Who was that?
A good friend of mine who's a professor at Columbia Law School.
Mr. Comey admitted that he leaked to friends of his purported memos of those privileged communications, one of which he testified was classified. Mr. Comey also testified that immediately after he was terminated, he authorized his friends to leak the contents of those memos to the press in order to, in Mr. Comey's words, quote, prompt the appointment of a special counsel.
All right, the fallout over a leaked memo. Now, James Comey, the former FBI director, said he leaked it as a former FBI director, but as my friend David Asman was pointing out during the break, when he wrote it on a government computer, and he was very much an FBI director. So it's kind of weird to sort out here. But the fallout from all of this, the former Whitewater independent counsel Robert Ray has taken on a president in his life, or two, or whatever.
Just one president in one lifetime. That was plenty.
Yeah, but it seemed like a lifetime, right?
Exactly.
Let me get your sense of how you think Comey did. A lot of people raised eyebrows on the leak memo thing, and then many others, myself included, said, well, wait a minute, had he not resigned and now knowing what he thought of the president, that he was a liar and all of it, and this guy would have been leading the investigation, that makes you wonder. He kind of would have had it out for him, right?
Well, the job of FBI director requires that you be tough. It certainly requires, on occasion, that you stand up to the President of the United States. Nobody said that would be easy. It's not easy.
Well, he didn't stand up to the President, right? Isn't that the rap, that he was afraid to confront him?
Well,
he's like 6'50" or something like that, but, right?
And he blended into the drapes.
Right.
Look.
What would you have done? Actually, you did it.
You've got to tell it like it is. I think...
did you confront Bill Clinton? Did you confront Bill Clinton?
I did.
Did you work with Jim Comey during the Whitewater investigation? I
did not, but I worked with Jim Comey in the U.S. Attorney's Office
any embarrassing
in Manhattan.
Stories?
No.
Really? This could be a very long interview.
No, Director Comey, I don't think, can be faulted for the fact that it was an awkward situation, and he clearly was uncomfortable. I don't think the contention swirling around Washington right now and the rest of the country is that, oh, well, let's talk about obstruction of justice. And
did anything you heard today hint of that?
No.
So if you're Donald Trump and you're worried this is going to lead to a summer of impeachment hearings, just based on what you heard today, what?
I wouldn't be worried about that. I mean, unless there's a change in control of Congress in 2 years,
well,
I might be worried about that. But would I be worried about the specter of a criminal investigation for obstruction of justice? No. No responsible prosecutor would bring an obstruction case against the president, period.
Okay, but why is James Comey now in charge of triggering a special counsel? Why is he the guy who gets a vote? And that is one of the most curious flaws
that he wanted to by getting this memo out.
He said he leaked the memo to a friend. He gave a government document, a privileged conversation after he was fired. That means he took the memo, something that extreme carelessness that he had accused Hillary Clinton of. And also talked about prosecution.
He said he was disparaged by the president and by extension the FBI.
He is no longer a U.S. attorney. This is someone in charge of law enforcement.
By the way, here's a question. He wrote
why is he the guy who gets the choice?
He wrote it on a government computer. He would have had to transfer that to his private computer. Who was he pointing fingers at doing that? Wasn't that what Hillary was doing? She was moving secret information to a private, non-secure computer.
He made it not classified so it could be freely transmitted. That's why he did that. But also, why are we taking him at his word? And why is he normalizing the fact that a disgraced, fired FBI director now is the one in charge of triggering a special investigation?
Can I just ask Robert a question, though? Because the Whitewater was about an SNL that went bust, right? That's how it started out, and that's why an investigator was brought in. And then it became Monica Lewinsky. So you have Robert Mueller, another former FBI director, now is the chief investigator. He could take this investigation anywhere he wants, right? If Donald Trump did something 15 years ago that's not exactly kosher, couldn't he bring him in for that?
Theoretically, but he'd have to go back to the Deputy Attorney General for an expansion of authority. And the Deputy Attorney General would retain the authority.
Rosenstein
would have to authorize that expansion of authority. Look, and you know, between Whitewater and Monica Lewinsky, the Whitewater investigation went through not just, you know, from point A to point B, but it went through a lot of different things along the way.
It veered far from what it was.
Sure.
That's why so many people were against setting up an independent prosecutor.
Well, let me give you an example. One of the places that it landed was the FBI files and the travel office. Just to give you an analogy, Hillary Clinton was responsible for the firing of the personnel in the travel office. There wasn't any question in my mind as the result of the investigation, and I said so in the final report, that her unhappiness with the personnel in the travel office was communicated. She was the First Lady of the United States. Her unhappiness was translated into being a direction that she wanted the travel office personnel fired. She testified under oath that she had nothing to do with the firing of the travel office personnel. I had to deal with the issue of, well, all right, did the First Lady lie under oath? There wasn't any doubt in my mind that she was responsible for firing the travel office personnel. There wasn't any question that her testimony, in my judgment, was factually false. Could I prove that it was perjurious? No. Her hopes and intimations as to what she desired about the travel office personnel are no different than Donald Trump's hopes and intimations as to what he would like to see with regard to the Michael Flynn investigation.
So what is the difference then? We now know that James Comey felt very uncomfortable with the president sort of strongly urging him to go light on General Flynn, right?
And that's what he testified to. I understood it to be a direction.
You found that to be an obstructionary move, right?
That's not provable corrupt intent.